Please, River, Desmond whispered, his voice cracking. Please just sleep. But the baby wouldn't stop crying. Desmond Grant stood in the center of his penthouse nursery at 3 in the morning, holding his 6-month-old son River against his chest while the infant screamed like the world was ending. He had tried everything. Bottle? Rejected. Diaper change? Done 3 times. Rocking? Walking? Singing in his horrible off-key voice? Nothing worked. River only cried harder, his tiny face red and scrunched up in misery. Desmond felt his own eyes burning with exhaustion. He hadn't slept more than 2 hours straight in weeks. The nanny had quit yesterday morning, throwing her hands up and declaring River impossible. She was the 4th nanny in 3 months. High's phone buzzed on the changing table. Another message from his ex-wife Vanessa, probably asking for more money. She'd left him 6 months ago, right after River was born, running off with his business competitor Marcus Chin. The divorce had cost Desmond half his fortune, and Vanessa hadn't looked back once. She never even asked about River. River's cries reached a new pitch, and Desmond felt panic rising in his chest. What if something was really wrong? What if he was failing as a father? What if River could sense that Desmond had no idea what he was doing? His brother Fletcher had left him a business card last week. Emergency childcare service, Fletcher had said. They send someone within an hour, any time of day. Desmond had rolled his eyes at the suggestion. He was Desmond Grant, CEO of Grant Industries. He didn't need help raising his own son. But now, with River screaming and his head pounding and his body swaying with exhaustion, Desmond grabbed his phone and dialed the number. Nighttime Childcare Solutions, a calm voice answered. How can we help you? I need someone now, Desmond said, practically shouting over River's cries. My son won't stop crying and I don't know what to do. We'll send our best caregiver right away. He should arrive within 45 minutes. 45 minutes felt like an eternity. Desmond paced the living room, bouncing River gently, murmuring nonsense words that did nothing to help. His massive penthouse suddenly felt like a prison. Everything was expensive and perfect and cold. The white leather couches Vanessa had insisted on buying. The abstract art that cost more than most people's cars. The floor-to-ceiling windows that showed the sleeping city below. None of it mattered. None of it could help him now. The doorbell rang at exactly 3:47 in the morning. Desmond rushed to the door, still holding the screaming River. He yanked it open and froze. The man standing in his doorway was nothing like he expected. Young, maybe 25, with warm brown eyes and soft features that immediately made something in Desmond's chest relax. He wore a simple sweater and jeans and carried a worn backpack over one shoulder. He wasn't tall or imposing. He looked kind. Mr. Grant, the man said, his voice somehow cutting through River's screams without being loud. I'm Quinn Hayes. May I come in? Desmond stepped aside wordlessly. Quinn walked past him, his eyes immediately finding River. He set his backpack down and held out his arms. May I hold him? Desmond hesitated for only a second before passing River over. The moment Quinn took River into his arms, something shifted. Quinn pressed River against his chest, one hand supporting the baby's head, the other rubbing slow circles on his tiny back. He started swaying in a gentle rhythm, side to side, and began humming a soft melody. River's screams dropped to whimpers. Desmond stared in shock. How did you do that? Quinn didn't answer right away. He kept humming, kept swaying, his whole body relaxed and confident. River's whimpers grew quieter. Quinn moved to the couch and sat down, adjusting River so the baby's head rested in the crook of his elbow. He continued the gentle back rub, his humming never stopping. After 2 more minutes, River's eyes started to droop. After 5 minutes, River was asleep. The silence in the penthouse was deafening. I don't understand, Desmond whispered. I've been trying for hours. Quinn looked up at him, and Desmond was struck by the warmth in his gaze. No judgment, no superiority, just gentle understanding. Babies can sense stress, Quinn said quietly. You were exhausted and worried, so River felt that and got more upset. It's a cycle. Sometimes they just need someone calm to help them reset. Are you saying this is my fault? No, Quinn said firmly. I'm saying you're doing your best, but you're human. You need rest too. When's the last time you slept more than 2 hours? Desmond couldn't remember. I'm fine. Quinn raised an eyebrow. You're swaying on your feet. When's the last time you ate? I don't need you to take care of me. I called you for River. River needs you healthy, Quinn said simply. He stood carefully, cradling the sleeping baby. Where's his crib? Desmond led Quinn to the nursery, watching as the Omega placed River down with practiced ease. Quinn pulled a soft blanket over the baby, then turned on a small night light, shaped like a moon. River didn't stir. Back in the living room, Quinn pulled items from his backpack. A thermos, a small container, a worn paperback book. I always bring tea and snacks for overnight jobs, he explained. Have you eaten dinner? I don't need you to stay, Desmond said, but his voice lacked conviction. The truth was, he was terrified River would wake up screaming again the moment Quinn left. Quinn seemed to read his mind. The service charges by the hour. I'm clear to stay as long as you need. River might sleep through the night now, or he might wake up again in a few hours. Either way, I can help. Desmond's pride warred with his desperation. Pride lost. Stay. Quinn smiled, and it transformed his whole face. Sit down. I'll make you something to eat. You don't have to cook for me. Mr. Grant, when's the last time someone took care of you? The question hit Desmond like a punch. He couldn't answer. Vanessa had never been nurturing. His parents were dead. Fletcher tried, but his brother had his own life. Desmond had been alone for so long, he'd forgotten what care felt like. He sat on the couch. Quinn disappeared into the kitchen, and soon Desmond smelled something wonderful. Toast, scrambled eggs, fresh coffee, simple food, but it made his stomach growl. He hadn't realized how hungry he was. Quinn returned with a plate and mug. Eat slowly. Your stomach probably isn't used to much food. Desmond wanted to argue, but the first bite of eggs was so good he almost groaned. He ate in silence while Quinn sat across from him, sipping tea from his thermos and reading his book. The quiet was comfortable, not awkward. For the first time in months, Desmond felt something like peace. Why do you do this? Desmond asked suddenly. Take care of other people's children in the middle of the night? Quinn looked up from his book. I like helping, and babies are honest. They cry when they need something. They smile when they're happy. No games. No lies. Sounds like you've dealt with a lot of games and lies. Quinn's expression flickered, just for a moment. Pain quickly hidden. Haven't we all? Desmond thought of Vanessa, of her promises and betrayals. Yeah, we have. They sat in silence again, but it felt heavier now, weighted with shared understanding. Desmond finished his food and set the plate aside. His body was finally relaxing, exhaustion creeping over him like a wave. You should sleep, Quinn said. I'll stay up and listen for River. If he cries, I'll handle it. I can't ask you to do that. You're not asking. I'm offering. Quinn's eyes were steady, sure. You've been carrying everything alone for too long, Mr. Grant. Let someone help, just for tonight. Desmond wanted to refuse. He was Desmond Grant, Alpha, CEO, father. He didn't need help from anyone, especially not from an Omega he'd just met. But his body was screaming for rest, and something about Quinn made him feel safe in a way he couldn't explain. Just for tonight, Desmond agreed. He stood and walked toward his bedroom, then paused in the doorway. Thank you, Quinn. Quinn's smile was soft. Sleep well. Desmond collapsed onto his bed, fully clothed, and was asleep in seconds. He didn't hear River wake at 5 a.m. He didn't hear Quinn's gentle humming as he soothed the baby back to sleep. He didn't hear anything until noon, when he woke to sunlight streaming through his windows and the smell of fresh coffee. He found Quinn in the kitchen, River propped in a bouncer on the counter, both of them watching as Quinn made pancakes. River was cooing happily, his earlier misery completely gone. Good morning, Quinn said, flipping a pancake. River and I have been having a great time. He ate, got changed, and we read 3 books. How do you feel? Desmond felt human again. Rested, clear-headed, better. Thank you. Quinn plated pancakes and slid them across the counter. Eat. Then we should talk about River's schedule. I think I figured out what was bothering him. They spent the afternoon together. Quinn explained that River seemed sensitive to noise and needed a quieter environment before bed. He showed Desmond the swaying technique, the back rub pattern, the specific humming pitch that soothed River best. Desmond tried it himself, and for the first time, River calmed in his arms. "You're a natural," Quinn said. "You just needed some guidance. Will you come back?" The words left Desmond's mouth before he could stop them. "Tomorrow night? And the next?" Quinn hesitated. "The service can send someone regularly if you need." "I don't want someone. I want you." The words hung in the air between them, charged with meaning neither of them was ready to acknowledge. Quinn's cheeks flushed slightly. "I can arrange that. A week trial." "A month," Desmond countered. "Live in. I have guest rooms. You can have your own space, but be here when River needs you. When I need you." He hadn't meant to say that last part. Quinn's eyes widened. "That's a big commitment, Mr. Grant." "Desmond. Call me Desmond." He stepped closer, drawn by something he couldn't name. "I know we just met, but River needs you. And maybe I do too." Quinn bit his lip, thinking. Desmond found himself staring at that lip, wondering what it would feel like under his thumb. The thought shocked him. He'd never looked at a man that way before. He'd never looked at anyone that way since Vanessa destroyed him. "1 month," Quinn finally said. "Trial basis. If it doesn't work, I leave with no hard feelings." "Deal." They shook hands, and the touch of Quinn's skin sent electricity up Desmond's arm. From the way Quinn's breath caught, he felt it too. Neither of them pulled away for several seconds too long. River chose that moment to start fussing, breaking the spell. Quinn stepped back quickly, moving to comfort the baby. Desmond watched him work, efficient and gentle, and felt something shift in his chest, something that felt dangerously like hope. He'd hired Quinn to take care of River, but as Quinn picked up his son and smiled at him with such genuine warmth, Desmond realized Quinn might end up taking care of more than just his baby. Quinn might end up taking care of his broken heart, too. Quinn moved into the penthouse on a Sunday, carrying 2 suitcases and his worn backpack. The guest room Desmond showed him was bigger than Quinn's entire apartment had been. It had its own bathroom, a massive bed, and windows overlooking the city. Everything was pristine and expensive and intimidating. "It's too much," Quinn said softly. Desmond frowned from the doorway. "Is something wrong with it?" "No, it's perfect. That's the problem." Quinn set his suitcases down and turned to face Desmond. "I'm just the nanny. This room is nicer than anywhere I've ever lived." "You're not just anything," Desmond said, his voice rougher than he intended. "You're the person keeping my son happy and healthy. You deserve a comfortable space." Quinn didn't know how to respond to that. His last alpha, Trevor, had made him sleep on a couch whenever they fought, had called him replaceable, had cheated with someone Trevor claimed was more useful. Quinn had spent 2 years believing he didn't deserve basic respect, let alone luxury. "Thank you," Quinn finally managed. Desmond nodded and left him to unpack. Quinn sat on the edge of the enormous bed and let himself feel overwhelmed for just a moment. Then River started crying from the nursery, and Quinn's instincts kicked in. He pushed his feelings aside and went to work. The first week was an adjustment. Desmond left for his office at 7 every morning and returned around 6 at night. Quinn established a routine with River: breakfast, playtime, morning nap, lunch, park visit, afternoon nap, dinner preparation. The baby thrived under the structure, his crying fits becoming rare. Quinn also started cooking real meals. The penthouse kitchen had been clearly unused, everything top of the line but dusty. Quinn fixed that. He made hearty breakfast Desmond could eat before work. He prepared lunches and left them in containers. He cooked dinners that filled the cold penthouse with warmth and delicious smells. Desmond never commented on the food, but Quinn noticed he ate every bite. Noticed he started coming home earlier. Noticed him lingering in the kitchen while Quinn cooked, watching silently with an expression Quinn couldn't quite read. "You don't have to cook for me," Desmond said one evening, his voice gruff. "I can order takeout." "I like cooking," Quinn replied, stirring pasta sauce. "And River should grow up around healthy food. Besides, when's the last time you had a home-cooked meal?" Desmond was quiet for a long moment. "Not since my mother died. I was 19. Quinn's hand stilled. He turned to look at Desmond, seeing past the expensive suit and hard expression to the lonely man underneath. "That's too long. I manage fine. Managing isn't the same as living." The words settled between them like a challenge. Desmond's jaw tightened, but he didn't argue. He just watched Quinn cook, and something in his eyes looked hungry for more than just food. 2 weeks in, Fletcher came to visit. Desmond's brother was loud and cheerful, the complete opposite of Desmond's brooding intensity. He swept into the penthouse with gifts for River and an enormous grin. "So you're the miracle worker," Fletcher said, shaking Quinn's hand enthusiastically. "Des told me about you. Said you got River to sleep on the first night." "It wasn't a miracle," Quinn said, laughing. "Just technique and patience." "Whatever it was, thank you. I've never seen my brother look this rested." Fletcher lowered his voice conspiratorially. "Or this happy. You're good for him." Quinn felt his cheeks heat. "I'm just doing my job." "Sure you are." Fletcher winked, then turned to Desmond. "Can we talk?" "Business stuff." The brothers disappeared into Desmond's office. Quinn took River to the nursery for a diaper change, but he could hear raised voices through the walls. He tried not to eavesdrop, but Desmond's angry shout carried clearly. "I don't care what Vanessa wants. She made her choice." Quinn's stomach dropped. Vanessa, the ex-wife who'd abandoned River. What did she want now? Fletcher and Desmond emerged 20 minutes later, both looking tense. Fletcher left quickly, giving Quinn an apologetic smile. Desmond poured himself a drink, his movements sharp and aggressive. "Is everything okay?" Quinn asked carefully. "It's fine, Desmond." Desmond drained his glass and poured another. Vanessa called Fletcher. "She wants to see River. Claims she's ready to be a mother now." Quinn's protective instinct flared. "What did you tell her?" "To get lost. She didn't want him when he was born. She doesn't get to waltz back in when it's convenient." Desmond's hand shook slightly as he raised the glass. "Fletcher thinks I should at least hear her out. For River's sake. What do you think?" "I think she'll hurt him, just like she hurt me." Desmond's voice cracked slightly. "I can't let that happen." Quinn moved closer, drawn by the pain in Desmond's voice. "You're a good father. River is lucky to have you fighting for him." Desmond looked at Quinn, then really looked at him, and the intensity in his gaze made Quinn's breath catch. "You really believe that?" "I do." They stood there, inches apart, the air between them crackling with tension. Quinn knew he should step back, maintain professional boundaries. But Desmond looked so lost, so in need of comfort, that Quinn couldn't make himself move. Desmond's phone rang, shattering the moment. He answered it, his expression darkening. "What? When?" "I'll be right there." He ended the call and grabbed his jacket. "Emergency at the office. Server crash. I have to go. Now? It's almost River's bedtime." "I know. I'm sorry. I'll be back as soon as I can." Desmond paused at the door. "Quinn, if Vanessa shows up here, don't let her in." "I mean it. Don't open the door." "I won't. I promise." Desmond left, and Quinn got River ready for bed. The baby was fussy, probably sensing his father's stress. Quinn sang softly until River's eyes drooped, then placed him gently in his crib. The doorbell rang. Quinn froze. It was almost 9 at night. Desmond had taken his key. Who else would come here? The doorbell rang again, followed by pounding on the door. "Desmond, I know you're home. We need to talk." A woman's voice, sharp and demanding. Quinn's blood ran cold. "Vanessa." He walked to the door, but didn't open it. "Mr. Grant isn't here." "Who are you?" Vanessa's voice turned suspicious. "Open this door right now." "I'm a nanny." Mr. Grant gave clear instructions not to let anyone in. "The nanny." Vanessa laughed, but it wasn't a nice sound. "He hired a male nanny? That's rich." "Listen, sweetie, I'm River's mother. Open the door, or I'll call the police and report a kidnapping." Quinn's hand shook, but he kept his voice steady. "You're welcome to call the police. Mr. Grant has full custody. I'm authorized to be here." "You're not." Vanessa screamed something vicious, but Quinn walked away from the door. He checked on River, who was miraculously still sleeping, then texted Desmond. "Vanessa came by. I didn't let her in. She left." Desmond called immediately. "Are you okay? Did she threaten you?" "I'm fine. She just yelled and left." "I'm coming home." "You don't have to. We're safe. Handle your emergency." "Quinn." Desmond's voice was rough. "You protected my son. Thank you." The call ended, but Quinn felt warm despite the confrontation. Desmond had trusted him, had believed him, had thanked him. Desmond returned at midnight. Quinn was reading on the couch, listening to the baby monitor. Desmond looked exhausted, his tie loosened and his hair messy from running his hands through it. "Server's fixed," Desmond said, collapsing onto the couch beside Quinn. "Tell me what happened with Vanessa." Quinn recounted the conversation. Desmond's expression grew darker with every word. "She threatened you. She actually threatened to call the police on you for doing your job. I handled it. You shouldn't have to handle it. This is my mess." Desmond leaned forward, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. "She destroys everything she touches." Quinn set his book aside and turned to face Desmond fully. "What happened between you two? You don't want to hear that story." "I do. If I'm going to be part of River's life, I should understand." Desmond was quiet for a long time. Then, slowly, he started talking. He told Quinn about meeting Vanessa at a business conference, about the whirlwind romance, about her getting pregnant and insisting they marry immediately, about how she changed the moment the ring was on her finger, becoming cold and calculating. "She never wanted a family," Desmond said bitterly. "She wanted my money and status. When River was born, she looked at him like he was an inconvenience. She left before he was 2 weeks old, ran off with Marcus Chun, my biggest competitor. The divorce papers cited abandonment, but she still got millions because of the prenup I was stupid enough to sign. That's not your fault. I should have seen who she really was. I should have protected River from her from the beginning." Quinn reached out without thinking and placed his hand over Desmond's. "You're protecting him now. You're being the father he needs. That's what matters." Desmond looked down at their hands, then up at Quinn's face. His eyes were intense, searching. "Why are you so kind to me? I'm basically a stranger, a client. You don't owe me anything. Maybe I want to be kind to you." Quinn's voice came out softer than intended. "Maybe I see someone who's been hurt try his best to not pass that hurt on to his son. Maybe I think you deserve kindness." "Quinn," Desmond said his name like a prayer. His hand turned palm up, fingers threading through Quinn's. "I can't stop thinking about you." Quinn's heart hammered in his chest. "Desmond, I work for you. We shouldn't. I know all the reasons this is a bad idea." Desmond moved closer, his free hand coming up to cup Quinn's face. "But I haven't felt this alive since before Vanessa. You walk into a room and everything gets brighter. You smile at me, and I forget how to breathe. Tell me you don't feel it too." Quinn should lie, should protect himself, should remember what happened with Trevor and all the pain that came from trusting an alpha. But Desmond's thumb was stroking his cheek so gently, and his eyes were full of something that looked like wonder, and Quinn was so tired of being afraid. "I feel it," Quinn whispered. "I'm terrified, but I feel it." Desmond leaned in slowly, giving Quinn every chance to pull away. But Quinn didn't move. Their lips met, softly, tentatively, a question and answer all at once. The kiss was gentle and searching, nothing like the demanding kisses Trevor used to take. This kiss felt like Desmond was asking permission with every movement. Like Quinn was precious. They broke apart, both breathing hard. Desmond rested his forehead against Quinn's. "I want to do this right. I want to court you properly. Dates, flowers, all of it. I'm your employee. Then I'll fire you and hire you back as something else. Consultant, advisor. I don't care." Desmond pulled back enough to meet Quinn's eyes. "I just know I can't let you be just a nanny. Not when you become so much more." Quinn wanted to say yes, wanted to throw caution away and dive into whatever this was between them. But River's face flashed through his mind. The baby had already lost one parent. What if this thing with Desmond fell apart? What if Quinn had to leave? River would lose someone else who cared for him. "I need time to think," Quinn said. "This isn't just about us. River is involved. I won't risk hurting him." Desmond nodded slowly. "You're right. River comes first. Always." He stood, running a hand through his hair. "I should let you sleep. We can talk more tomorrow." "Desmond." Quinn stood too. "For what it's worth, I want this too. I'm just scared." "I'm scared too," Desmond admitted. "But I think you might be worth being scared for." He left Quinn standing in the living room, heart racing and mind spinning. Quinn touched his lips, still feeling the ghost of that kiss. He'd promised himself after Trevor that he wouldn't trust another alpha, wouldn't risk his heart again. But Desmond wasn't Trevor. Desmond was complicated and broken and trying so hard to be better. Desmond looked at Quinn like he was something valuable, like he mattered. Maybe, Quinn thought, some risks were worth taking. Maybe some people were worth the fear. Maybe this time, things could be different. He just hoped he was right. The next morning, Quinn woke to find a single white rose on his bedside table with a note in strong, angular handwriting. Good morning. Thank you for taking care of us both. Quinn pressed the note to his chest and smiled despite himself. Desmond was already gone for work, but he'd left breakfast prepared in the kitchen. Poorly prepared, Quinn noted with amusement, seeing the slightly burnt toast and over-scrambled eggs. But the effort made his heart squeeze. Over the next week, more gifts appeared. A new book by Quinn's favorite author. Expensive coffee beans, because Desmond noticed Quinn preferred his tea but would drink coffee if it was good. A soft blanket for Quinn's reading chair. Small things, thoughtful things that showed Desmond was paying attention. But Desmond kept his distance physically. No more almost kisses. No more hand-holding. He was giving Quinn space to decide, even though the tension between them grew thicker every day. Quinn caught Desmond watching him constantly. When Quinn cooked dinner, Desmond's eyes tracked his movements around the kitchen. When Quinn played with River on the floor, Desmond stood in the doorway with an expression that made Quinn's skin heat. When they passed each other in the hallway, Desmond's hand would twitch like he wanted to reach out, but stopped himself. It was driving Quinn insane. 2 weeks after their kiss, Quinn made his decision. He waited until River was asleep, then found Desmond in his office, working late as usual. Quinn didn't knock. He just walked in and closed the door behind him. Desmond looked up from his computer, surprise flashing across his face. Quinn, is everything okay? Is River? River's fine. Quinn crossed the office and stopped in front of Desmond's desk. I made up my mind. Desmond stood slowly, his eyes wary but hopeful. About what? About us. About this. Quinn took a deep breath. I want to try. I want to see where this goes. Relief flooded Desmond's expression. He moved around the desk, stopping just inches from Quinn. Are you sure? I meant what I said about not rushing. I can wait as long as you need. I'm sure, but I have conditions. Quinn held up a finger. First, River's well-being comes before everything else. If this affects him negatively, we stop. Agreed. Second, we take it slow. I won't rush into anything physical beyond what feels right. Quinn's cheeks heated, but he pushed on. I've been hurt before. I need to trust you completely before we take that step. Desmond's expression softened. Quinn, I would never pressure you. We move at your pace. Always. Third, if this doesn't work out, I need your word that River won't suffer. That will stay professional for his sake. You have my word. Desmond reached out and took Quinn's hands. But I don't think it won't work out. I think this is the most right thing I've felt in years. Quinn squeezed Desmond's hands. Then let's try. Desmond pulled Quinn close, wrapping his arms around him in a hug that felt like coming home. Quinn breathed in Desmond's scent, clean and masculine with a hint of expensive cologne, and let himself relax. This was happening. This was real. Can I kiss you? Desmond murmured against Quinn's hair. Yes. This kiss was different from a first. Deeper. More certain. Desmond's hands cupped Quinn's face like he was something precious, and Quinn gripped Desmond's shirt to keep himself steady. Heat bloomed in Quinn's chest and spread through his entire body. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. Wow, Quinn whispered. Desmond laughed, the sound rich and genuine. Yeah, wow. They started dating secretly, stealing moments between Quinn's work with River. Long conversations after the baby slept. Heated kisses in the kitchen while dinner cooked. Quiet evenings on the couch, Quinn reading while Desmond worked, their feet touching. It felt domestic and right and wonderful. Desmond was an attentive partner. He remembered everything Quinn mentioned in passing. Favorite foods, preferred flowers, books he wanted to read. He asked about Quinn's day and actually listened to the answers. He never made Quinn feel like an afterthought. You're nothing like I expected, Quinn admitted one night, curled against Desmond's side on the couch. What did you expect? I don't know. Someone colder, I guess. More demanding. You're the CEO of a major company. I thought you'd be all business all the time. Desmond pressed a kiss to Quinn's temple. I was like that before you. Work was all I had after Vanessa. But you've reminded me there's more to life than quarterly earnings and board meetings. Like what? Like coming home to someone who's genuinely happy to see me. Like watching my son laugh because the person taking care of him loves him. Like kissing someone who kisses back because they want to, not because I can give them something. Desmond's arms tightened around Quinn. You've given me back pieces of myself I thought were gone forever. Quinn tilted his head up and kissed him, pouring everything he felt into the connection of their lips. The kiss grew heated, Desmond's hands sliding under Quinn's shirt to touch bare skin. Quinn gasped at the contact, his body arching into the touch. "Tell me to stop if it's too much," Desmond said, his voice rough. "Don't stop." They moved to Desmond's bedroom, leaving a trail of clothes behind them. In the massive bed, Desmond worshipped Quinn's body with kisses and careful touches, always checking that Quinn was okay, that he wanted this. Quinn had never felt so cherished, so wanted. When they finally came together, it felt like something fundamental clicking into place. Afterward, they lay tangled together, Quinn's head on Desmond's chest, listening to his heartbeat slow. "I love you," Desmond said quietly. Quinn's breath caught. It was too soon. They'd only been together a month. He should be cautious, should protect his heart. But lying there in Desmond's arms, feeling safer than he'd ever felt, Quinn knew the truth. "I love you too." The next morning, everything shattered. Quinn woke alone. He could hear voices from the living room. One of them Desmond's, raised and angry. The other was a woman's voice, sharp and cold. "Vanessa." Quinn dressed quickly and crept toward the living room. Through the partially open door, he could see them. Vanessa was stunning, tall and elegant in a designer suit. She stood in the middle of the room like she owned it. "You can't keep him from me," Vanessa was saying. "I'm his mother." "You abandoned him," Desmond shot back. "You don't get to play mother now." "I made a mistake." "People are allowed to make mistakes, Desmond. I want to be part of River's life." "No." Vanessa's expression turned calculating. "I've spoken to a lawyer. I have rights. If you don't let me see River willingly, I'll take you to court. And I'll win." "On what grounds?" "You left. You signed away custody. On the grounds that you're unfit. Living with your male lover while raising an infant? Exposing River to that kind of environment? A judge will side with me." Vanessa's smile was cruel. "Give me shared custody, or I'll destroy you in court. I'll make sure every dirty detail of your personal life becomes public record. Your company will suffer. Your reputation will be ruined." Desmond's face went pale. "You're bluffing." "Try me." Vanessa turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and Desmond? That little Omega of yours? He's just using you for money and security, just like I did. You're so desperate to be loved, you can't see when someone's playing you." She left, slamming the door behind her. Quinn stood frozen in the hallway. His heart was pounding, Vanessa's words echoing in his head. "Just using you for money." Was that what Desmond would think? That Quinn was like her? He found Desmond standing at the window, staring out at the city. His shoulders were rigid with tension. "Desmond," Quinn said softly. Desmond turned, and the pain in his eyes made Quinn's chest ache. "You heard." "Most of it, yes." "She's bluffing, right? She can't actually take River?" "I don't know." Desmond ran his hands through his hair. "She's right that she has rights as his biological mother. If she fights for custody, even if she doesn't win full custody, the court battle will be hell. And if she makes our relationship public, frames it as me being reckless with River's welfare, it could damage both my company and any custody case." "So what are you saying?" Desmond couldn't meet his eyes. "Maybe we should cool things down. Publicly, at least. Just until this is resolved." "Cool things down," Quinn repeated numbly. "You mean pretend we're not together? Just temporarily? Just until Vanessa backs off, or we can prove she's unfit? And if she doesn't back off? If this drags on for months?" Quinn felt his heart cracking. "What happens then? Do you keep hiding me? Pretending I don't matter? You do matter. God, Quinn, you matter more than anything except River. But I can't lose my son. I can't." Desmond finally looked at him, desperation clear in his expression. "Please understand. I need to protect him. By sacrificing us. By being smart. By not giving her ammunition." Desmond reached for Quinn, but Quinn stepped back. "After Trevor left me, I swore I'd never let another alpha make me feel small again. Make me feel like I wasn't worth fighting for. Quinn's voice shook. I thought you were different. I thought you'd choose me. I'm choosing you. I'm just asking for time. No, you're asking me to hide, to be your secret, to accept being less important than appearances. Quinn felt tears burning his eyes, but refused to let them fall. I won't do it. I won't be someone's shameful secret. Quinn, please, don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You're the one making the choice. Quinn turned toward his room. I'll stay until you find a new nanny. For River's sake. But we're done, Desmond. We're done. He made it to his room before the tears came. He heard Desmond calling his name, heard footsteps in the hallway, then heard them stop. Heard nothing. Desmond didn't come after him, didn't fight for him, and that, more than anything, broke Quinn's heart completely. He'd been stupid to trust again, stupid to believe this time could be different. Alphas always chose themselves in the end. Always. Quinn packed his suitcase through his tears, determined to leave as soon as Desmond found a replacement. He'd survived Trevor's betrayal. He'd survive this too, even if it killed him. 3 days passed in tense silence. Quinn took care of River during the day, but avoided Desmond completely. He ate meals in his room. He stayed in the nursery or his bedroom when Desmond was home. He was professional and cold, and it was destroying him. River sensed something was wrong. The baby fussed more, cried more, reaching for both of them like he could sense the tension and wanted to fix it. Quinn's heart broke every time. River loved them both. This was going to hurt him no matter what. On the 4th day, Fletcher showed up unannounced. He found Quinn in the kitchen and pulled him aside. What happened between you and Des? Fletcher asked bluntly. He's been miserable, and you look like you've been crying for days. Ask your brother. I did. He said it's complicated, that he's protecting River. Fletcher's expression was serious. But I've known Des his whole life. He's scared. When he's scared, he pushes people away. He did it after your parents died. After Vanessa. He's doing it now with you. That's his choice. It's a stupid choice. Fletcher sighed. Look, I know about Vanessa's threats. I also know Des is an idiot for letting her manipulate him. But you need to know something. I've never seen my brother look at anyone the way he looks at you. Not even Vanessa. He loves you, Quinn. Really loves you. He's just terrified of losing both you and River. So he's trying to protect River and hoping you'll wait. I can't wait for someone who won't fight for me. Then make him fight for you. Stop being patient and understanding. Get angry. Yell at him. Make him see what he's throwing away. Quinn shook his head. It doesn't work like that. I shouldn't have to beg someone to choose me. You're right. You shouldn't. But sometimes people need a wake-up call before they realize what they're losing. Fletcher squeezed Quinn's shoulder. Don't give up yet. Please. River needs you both. And Des needs you even if he's too scared to admit it. Fletcher laughed, and Quinn stood alone in the kitchen, his words echoing. Make him fight for you. Get angry. Quinn had been hurt and professional. He hadn't fought back. Maybe it was time to change that. That evening, when Desmond came home from work, Quinn was waiting in the living room. He put River to bed early. This conversation needed to happen without interruption. We need to talk, Quinn said. Desmond set down his briefcase, his expression wary. Okay, I'm not going to make this easy for you. I'm not going to quietly pack up and leave so you can pretend we never happened. Quinn stood, crossing his arms. You told me you loved me. Was that a lie? No. God, no. I meant every word. Then why are you letting Vanessa win? Why are you letting her control your life again? I'm trying to protect River. By teaching him to hide who he loves? By showing him that other people's opinions matter more than the truth. Quinn's voice rose. You're not protecting him, Desmond. You're teaching him to be afraid. That's not fair. None of this is fair. Vanessa abandoned you both, and now she gets to swoop back in and dictate terms? You're Desmond Grant. You build an empire from nothing. You don't back down from anyone. Why are you backing down from her? Desmond's composure cracked. Because I can't lose River. Don't you understand? He's all I have. If she takes him from me, I'll have nothing. You have me, Quinn shouted. Or you did. Before you pushed me away like I was disposable. Before you decided I wasn't worth the risk. You are worth it. You're worth everything. Then prove it. Quinn was crying now, angry tears streaming down his face. Fight for us. Stop hiding. Stop being afraid. Choose me, Desmond. Choose us. Choose the family we could be. Desmond stared at him, something desperate and wild in his eyes. What if I lose? What if you win? Quinn stepped closer. What if we fight together and we win? What if we prove that love is stronger than her manipulation? What if we show River that real families fight for each other? I don't know how. Yes, you do. You fight her in court. You expose her threats and manipulation. You stand up and say that you love me and you're not ashamed of it. Quinn took Desmond's face in his hands. You stop letting her have power over you. You take it back. Desmond closed his eyes, leaning into Quinn's touch. I'm so scared. I know. I'm scared too. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you. They stood there, holding each other, both trembling with emotion. Finally, Desmond opened his eyes, and Quinn saw something new there. Determination. You're right, Desmond said. I've been a coward. I've been letting fear make my decisions instead of trusting what I know is right. So what are you going to do? Desmond pulled back and grabbed his phone. He dialed a number, putting it on speaker. After 2 rings, a man answered. Grant residence. Fletcher, I need you to recommend your best lawyer. Someone who specializes in custody battles and isn't afraid to fight dirty. Fletcher's voice brightened. Finally, I'll text you 3 names in the next hour. It's about time you fought back. And Fletcher, call a press conference for tomorrow morning. I have an announcement to make. What kind of announcement? Desmond looked at Quinn, and the love in his eyes made Quinn's breath catch. The kind that changes everything. He hung up and pulled Quinn into his arms. I don't know if this will work. I don't know if we can beat her. But I'm going to try. I'm going to fight for you, for River, for us. I should have done it from the beginning. Quinn kissed him hard, pouring forgiveness and hope and love into the connection. When they broke apart, both were smiling through tears. Together? Quinn asked. Together, Desmond confirmed. Always. That night, they made love again, but it felt different. Urgent and intense, like they were sealing a promise with their bodies. Afterward, they lay tangled together, making plans and promises. Tomorrow, they'd face Vanessa. Tomorrow, they'd fight back. Tomorrow, they'd show the world that their family was real and worth fighting for. But tonight, they had each other, and that was enough. The press conference room was packed with reporters, all buzzing with speculation about why Desmond Grant, notoriously private CEO, had called a sudden media event. Quinn stood backstage, his heart pounding, River sleeping peacefully in his arms. You don't have to do this, Desmond said, adjusting his tie for the 5th time. I can handle it alone. We're doing this together, Quinn said firmly. That's the whole point. Fletcher poked his head in. 2 minutes. You ready? Desmond looked at Quinn, then at River, then back at Quinn. Something settled in his expression. Yeah, I'm ready. They walked out together. The moment the reporters saw Quinn holding the baby, cameras flashed wildly. Quinn could hear the whispers starting. Who was he? Why was he with Desmond Grant's son? Desmond stepped up to the microphone, and the room fell silent. Thank you all for coming on short notice. I've called you here today to address some rumors and to make some truths clear. Desmond's voice was strong, confident. 6 months ago, my ex-wife Vanessa abandoned me and our infant son. The divorce was finalized 3 months ago. Since then, I've been raising River alone with help from Quinn Hayes, who started as River's nanny and has become much more. Quinn moved to stand beside Desmond, conscious of every camera pointing at them. Quinn has become my partner, in every sense of the word. We're building a family together, and I wanted to make that public because hiding it felt like a lie. River deserves to grow up in a home filled with love and truth, not secrets and shame. A reporter shouted out, Mr. Grant, is it true your ex-wife is threatening a custody battle? Yes. Vanessa has threatened to take River from me, using my relationship with Quinn as supposed evidence that I'm an unfit parent. She's also been working with my business competitor Marcus Chun to sabotage my company, hoping financial instability would weaken my custody position. Desmond pulled out a folder and held it up. I have documented evidence of her corporate espionage, her threats, and her complete disinterest in River's well-being. She doesn't want our son. She wants control and money. I'm releasing this evidence to the media today, and I'm countersuing for full custody with no visitation rights." The room erupted. Questions flew from every direction. Desmond held up a hand. "I'll take a few questions. But first, I want to say something directly to Vanessa, since I know you're watching." Desmond looked straight at the camera. "You thought you could control me with fear. You thought I'd sacrifice my happiness to avoid a public battle. You were wrong. I've spent too long letting other people's opinions shape my life. That ends today. Quinn is my partner. River is my son. We're a family, and I will fight anyone who tries to tear us apart." He stepped back from a microphone and took Quinn's hand. Together, they walked off the stage while reporters shouted questions behind them. In the car, Quinn let out a shaky breath. That was intense. That was necessary. Desmond squeezed his hand. No more hiding. No more fear. Fletcher called 20 minutes later. "Des, you're trending on every social media platform." The response is overwhelmingly positive. People are calling Vanessa out. Several of her sponsors have already dropped her, and 3 different law firms have called offering to take your case pro bono. Really? You stood up for your family, Des. People respect that. Fletcher's voice softened. "I'm proud of you, brother. Mom and Dad would be too." Over the next few weeks, everything happened fast. Vanessa tried to fight back, but the evidence against her was overwhelming. Her corporate espionage charges led to criminal investigations. Marcus Chin distanced himself from her publicly. Her threats fell apart when multiple witnesses came forward saying she tried to bribe them to testify against Desmond. The custody hearing was short. The judge took one look at the evidence, listened to Child Services reports about River's excellent care, and granted Desmond full custody with 0 visitation for Vanessa. She left the courthouse in handcuffs, facing fraud and extortion charges. It was over. That night, Quinn and Desmond celebrated quietly at home. River was already asleep. They sat on the couch, exhausted but relieved. "I can't believe it's really done," Quinn said. "Believe it." Desmond pulled him close. "You're stuck with us now. I can think of worse fates." Quinn kissed him softly. "So what happens now? Now we live our lives. No more hiding. No more fear." Desmond pulled a small box from his pocket. "And now I ask you something I've been waiting to ask." Quinn's heart stopped. "Desmond, Quinn Hayes, will you marry me? Will you officially become River's other father and my husband? Will you let me spend the rest of my life proving I'll always choose you?" Quinn's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." The ring was simple and perfect, a silver band that fit like it was made for Quinn's finger. They kissed, sealing the promise, both of them crying and laughing at the same time. 6 months later, they had a small ceremony in Desmond's backyard, which Quinn had transformed into a garden. Fletcher was best man. River, now a year old, toddled down the aisle carrying the rings in a small basket, delighting everyone. They exchanged vows they'd written themselves. Desmond promised to always fight for their family, to never let fear make his decisions, to love Quinn completely every day. Quinn promised to be Desmond's partner in all things, to give River all the love he deserved, to build a home filled with warmth and laughter. When the officiant declared them married, they kissed while their small group of friends and family cheered. River clapped his tiny hands, not understanding but happy because his fathers were happy. The reception was simple and perfect. Good food, better company, and dancing under string lights as the sun set. Quinn danced with River in his arms, the toddler giggling as Quinn spun him around. Desmond cut in, taking them both in his arms, the 3 of them swaying together. "This is everything," Desmond murmured against Quinn's hair. "This is just the beginning," Quinn replied. That night, after the guests left and River was asleep in his crib, Desmond carried Quinn to their bedroom. They made love slowly, tenderly, taking their time to worship each other's bodies. It felt sacred, this joining. It felt like coming home. Afterward, lying tangled together in the moonlight, Desmond traced patterns on Quinn's bare shoulder. "Do you ever think about how we met?" Desmond asked. "All the time. You were so desperate and exhausted." River was screaming. "You looked like you were about to fall apart." "I was. And then you walked in, and everything changed. Desmond kissed Quinn's shoulder. You saved us both that night. You saved me too. You reminded me that not all alphas are like Trevor. That love can be real and safe and good. I'm going to spend every day making sure you never doubt that. Desmond pulled Quinn closer. I love you, Quinn Grant. Quinn smiled at his new name. I love you too, Desmond Grant. They fell asleep wrapped around each other, secure in their love and their family. 5 years later, River was 6 years old and starting first grade. He'd grown into a happy, confident child who loved soccer, painting, and telling elaborate stories. He called both Desmond and Quinn Papa, never differentiating between them. Quinn worked part-time now, running a program that trained other Omegas in childcare. Desmond had restructured his company to allow for better work-life balance, rarely staying late anymore. They bought a house in the suburbs with a big yard where River could play. One evening, they sat on the back porch watching River chase fireflies in the twilight. I want another one, Quinn said suddenly. Desmond looked at him in surprise. Another what? Baby, I want to give River a sibling. I want to expand our family. Quinn took Desmond's hand. What do you think? Desmond was quiet for a moment, then smiled. I think that sounds perfect. Let's do it. They started the adoption process the next week. 9 months later, they brought home a 3-month-old baby girl they named Hope. River was immediately smitten with his little sister, constantly wanting to hold her and help take care of her. Their family was complete. Years passed, full of soccer games and school plays, scraped knees and bedtime stories, laughter and love. Quinn and Desmond grew older together, their love deepening with every challenge they faced and every joy they shared. On their 10th anniversary, Desmond surprised Quinn with a renewal ceremony. Just the two of them and their kids, now teenagers, plus Fletcher and a few close friends. They exchanged new vows, updated for the life they'd built. 10 years ago, you walked into my life when I was broken and lost, Desmond said, holding Quinn's hands. You didn't just fix me. You showed me how to fix myself. You taught me that family isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, fighting through the hard parts, and choosing each other every single day. You've been my partner, my best friend, my home. I can't wait for 10 more years, and 10 after that, and all the years we have together. Quinn wiped his tears. You once told me I saved you. But the truth is, we saved each other. You showed me that I deserve to be loved completely, without conditions or shame. You gave me a family I never thought I'd have. You've been my safe place, my adventure, my everything. I would choose you in every lifetime, Desmond Grant. Every single one. They kissed while their kids made exaggerated gagging sounds, and everyone laughed. It was perfect. It was them. That night, after Hope and River were asleep, Quinn and Desmond sat in their backyard, the same spot where they'd had their first ceremony a decade ago. Do you remember that first night? Quinn asked. When I showed up at your door and River finally stopped crying, I remember thinking you were some kind of miracle worker, that you couldn't possibly be real. And now I know you're real. Beautifully, perfectly, wonderfully real. Desmond pulled Quinn into his arms. And mine. Forever mine. Forever yours, Quinn agreed. Forever ours. They sat together under the stars, two people who'd found each other in the darkness and built a life full of light. Two broken pieces that fit together perfectly. Two fathers who'd fought for their family and won. The next morning, River rushed into their bedroom, Hope toddling behind him. Papa Quinn, Papa Desmond, wake up. It's Saturday. You promised we could make pancakes. Quinn groaned but smiled. Desmond laughed and pulled him out of bed. Together, they followed their children downstairs, ready to start another day of their beautifully chaotic life. In the kitchen, River tried to flip a pancake and it landed on the floor. Hope clapped and laughed. Quinn rescued the batter while Desmond took over the stove. It was messy and loud and imperfect. It was everything they'd ever wanted. Years ago, Desmond had called Quinn in desperation, needing someone to soothe his crying baby. Neither of them could have known that moment would change everything. That the Omega who'd shown up at midnight would become the love of Desmond's life. That the broken alpha who needed help would become Quinn's safe harbor. They'd built something beautiful from their pain. A family. A home. a love that would last forever. And it all started with a crying baby, a desperate alpha, and an omega who'd been brave enough to answer the call. Their story wasn't over. It was just beginning. Every day brought new adventures, new challenges, new reasons to choose each other. And they would every single day for the rest of their lives. Because some love stories don't have endings. They just have forevers. And Quinn and Desmond's forever was just getting started. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel so you never miss another romance. Drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from and what you loved most about Quinn and Desmond's journey. We love hearing from you, and your support means everything.